developed the myenergyplan.net, which is an online system with some other outreach tools.
Mike Grosse, welcome to the green screen. And Mike is our new producer.
This is something that regular business people in all of our communities and regular everyday moms and consumers care about.
Welcome to the green screen. The Greenscreen.tv is brought to you by the Sea Solar Store, the GES Solar Store, the Green Energy Options Solar Store, MJW Drywall, and NewHampshireInsulation.com, EarthTech, Ridgeview Construction, and the Green Alliance. I'm your host, Bill Rogers, and for the next 13 weeks, we'll be looking at and for solutions that save.
Our green card, our membership in the Green Alliance. It allows us to buy green, buy local, and save lots of money.
My mom likes the discount and I like the cake.
Today on the green screen, we're talking with Julia Dundorf, who's brought money-saving solutions to the web.
We developed the myenergyplan.net, which is an online system with some other outreach tools to help individuals here in New Hampshire really understand how they can save more money and get control of their energy costs.
We got warm areas under the window.
Typical of many families, at our house we've been looking closely at where our money goes. And a way to track that is to look where our energy goes. A key tool for us is at myenergyplan.net with their personal energy planner.
So the personal energy planner really helps walk you through how you're using energy in your home, in your vehicles that you're driving, in your day-to-day lifestyle. Everything from looking at low-flow shower heads to using compact fluorescent light bulbs to using some simple tools like spray foam insulation to button up your home.
And with at least 40% of energy use coming from buildings, buttoning up can make a significant difference.
The personal energy planner is really quick to use. It might take you 15 or 20 minutes to go through this, and the average person is finding over $650 worth of actions that they can take.
The studio is one of the things that I have a lot of things going on.
Artist, educator, and Portsmouth, New Hampshire resident Tim Goudreau is no stranger to energy planning.
I've done a lot of things to make my work life as low impact and sustainable as possible. When we bought the place, one of the first things that I did was renovate this place so that I could make it a really good working artist studio that didn't take a lot of energy to use. These columns over here to the left are filled with water, and they act as a thermal mass too. Definitely helps keep the studio cooler in the summer and warm and comfortable in the winter.
So while we might not have the wherewithal to put in cool blue water pipes in our house, we can use the same planning tools for our own bright ideas, even if it's only screwing in a light bulb.
That's better.
It's all possible. It's all easy at myenergyplan.net.
This store is like the old-time hardware store. Come check it out. When I was a kid, my dad took me through this great place where you could find just about any little gadget to do just about anything. These glass tubes are called heat pipes. Sun comes out, starts making steam, things get hot, showers get warm. What we're doing is we're bringing solar to Main Street.
So are we on Main Street here?
Well, this isn't exactly Main Street. We're on Route 108 north of the Weeks Crossing. In Dover, it's a great place where you can come and learn about how you can save energy by using the sun.
MyEnergyPlan.net isn't all about planning. Some of their tools are about putting plans to action, and a good way to do that is to connect to companies and people with services and products to offer.
The Energy Project Connector connects you, the homeowner, with contractors in your area that do energy type work, everything from green architects to energy auditors or assessors to the guys who actually can do insulating on your home and the financial tools to do it.
For our home, we found an energy auditor first, then our insulation company. Our auditor, Ed Henningsen, and our insulation contractor, Mike Wilson of New Hampshire Foam, helped us find some pockets of green too, in the form of state and federal funds that paid for some of the work.
My energy plan is an evolution from the New England Carbon Challenge, and it's a joint project of the University of New Hampshire, where we started the Carbon Challenge, and Clean Air, Cool Planet, which is a nonprofit solely focused on climate change solutions based in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And we have two key partners that helped also make this site happen. The New Hampshire Sustainable Energy Association, which brought several of their key tools that were used to help homeowners figure out how they could use renewable energy in their homes. We brought those to the site with New Hampshire Sustainable Energy Association. And with UNH Cooperative Extension is another great partner, collaborator on this project. And they're using their Energy Answers program, where volunteers are at phones helping residents find their energy solutions.
And remember, it's not us finding our solutions, it's you finding yours.
That's better.
It's all possible, it's all easy at MyEnergyPlan.net. Taking action, saving real money, is less about pioneering uncharted territory and more about doing what works. It really helps when you see other folks, maybe down the street, maybe in another community like yours, using real solutions to save real money. That's what the Green Homes Tourist is all about.
The Green Home Tourist is a tool to take you around homes in New Hampshire, right from the privacy of your own office, or even to go out and visit some of these sites. Some of the homeowners are willing to do tours of their homes, so you can contact them and actually go out and talk to them and see their systems. It helps people share with their neighbors that this is something that we can be doing here in New Hampshire, that it's important to be doing, but that it makes our lives richer and more comfortable.
We've got a little bit of land to do all sorts of things, from creating a huge garden that gives us all of our food.
We're making our homes tighter. We're driving in comfortable, efficient automobiles.
Oh yeah, we use biodiesel.
We're saving money. We're keeping money in this state.
My favorite things is this right here. This is my electric meter. This meter goes backwards. I love looking at this thing in the earlier part of the day and noting at the latter part of the day that number is lower. So that PV is putting the power back into the grid and rolling back my meter. So I love that.
In fact, for every dollar that we spend on home heating fuels here in the state of New Hampshire, the estimate is that about 80 cents of that dollar leaves the state. Once you burn that fossil fuel, it's gone. You'll never have it again. When you invest the dollars in renewable energy or energy efficiency, you keep gaining from that day after day after day.
Yeah, so that basically gives us about 6 months free electricity.
And so by looking at ways that we in our own homes and in our own day-to-day lifestyle can save on those fossil fuels, we're keeping money in our wallets. The money we do spend is staying in a local economy, and we're stimulating jobs for folks.
One of the things about being on there is really an opportunity to share some of the things that I've done with other people, and we're all in this together. And I found it really useful to be able to talk to other people when I was going through a project, or I needed advice, or I wanted to talk about, or ask some questions about how things work.
It's just Yankee ingenuity, and it just makes sense.
Being on there is sort of providing, that opportunity for future people that are interested in doing some projects a chance to, find out about what I've done and ask questions and find out the pros and cons of particular things, or come check out and see how something works.
And remember, it's not us finding our solutions, it's you finding yours.
That's better.
It's all possible, it's all easy at myenergyplan.net. We're back on the green screen, and back here with someone new, Mike Grosse. Welcome to the green screen, and welcome. Mike is our new producer. You might have noticed a new look to the show. Well, that's because Mike is imparting a new look. He's a new producer in town, and glad to have you on the green screen.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, and I don't want to think of it as a new look. I'm just improving on what you've already done, which is great in the first season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the key is to continue what we've dedicated ourselves to on the green screen is keeping this conversation about something that I think is really interesting, cool, as well as, maybe even important. I think this energy transformation that we're all going through, saving ourselves money as we do it is important, and it's exciting. And so that's why I asked you to join us.
Absolutely. Not only is it exciting, it makes good TV.
So tell me about what's, we've talked about it, but we haven't talked about it here in front of the camera. What's your background? What brings you here as a producer?
I have a pretty varied background, but I like to think of myself as starting out as a print reporter. I spent a summer down in Gloucester, Massachusetts as a city reporter for the Gloucester Daily Times, and really learned a lot about telling a story and being part of a community. And being part of a community, you get to notice things that are happening that you don't necessarily notice just kind of, driving through the community or just going about your daily lives. And I really loved being able to see those things and kind of put them out there for people to enjoy and to appreciate. And I think that's exactly what's happening right now in our own backyards in terms of green energy and the sustainability movement. It's really gaining a lot of ground in terms of people really warming up to this idea that, hey, this isn't a fringe movement, this is something that's happening all around us, and it makes sense. And there are jobs out there, and it will save us money, not just today, but for years to come.
Yeah, that's the thing I find really cool. I mean, there were pioneers who really saw this stuff years ago. People who said, this stuff makes sense. But interesting thing about pioneers is I heard a discussion a few years ago, pioneers don't need anybody else to tell them that it's a smart idea. I mean, they just get this sense that they got to do it. What we need to move into the next wave, which is settlement, which is that other people are doing it as we're doing it. Not that the pioneers aren't vitally important to show the way, but really when other people start showing up for the pioneers, they want to go off to the next adventure. But I think for many of us, we really need those other people to make an economy of scale. So I think that looking for the other folks doing this is really of vital importance, and sort of celebrating that and pushing that energy forward.
Absolutely, and these people are all around us. They might even be, your own neighbor, and you wouldn't notice some of the changes that they're making inside their homes to just save a little bit here, a little bit there. And it's giving me a little bit of nostalgia for when I used to be a print reporter. I'm getting that same sense that when I would get a little Post-it note on my desk in the morning from the editor, go, talk to people about this subject, and I wouldn't know anything about that subject and expect, oh, who's going to be able to talk about that? But then as soon as you talk to people, people are really into it. And that's what I'm finding with green, sustainability, all of these topics people love to talk about. They know stories.
And traditionally, I think a lot of people have seen it as sort of the liberal sector that sort of led the way and these, but that's not true. I mean, conservatives, it doesn't cut, it cuts across political boundaries, just doing something that's cool and saves yourself money.
Absolutely. It just makes sense to do these things. I managed a business for a few years, and every day I would see things that could be improved. We only have so much time in any given day to make these changes, but we would continually work on making them because it didn't make sense to leave something that you recognize as wrong and not fix it. It would be madness to do the same thing day in, day out and expect a different result.
Yeah, a good definition of madness, and I have to admit to sometimes doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting a different result. But in this field, I do get the sense that there's a way to do things in a new way, but that benefits me, my family, and people around me.
Absolutely, and hey, it benefits the environment too, the whole planet in its own way.
Yeah, it's one of the organizations we belong to is the Businesses for Social Responsibility, and it's the three pillars of people, profits, and principles. So here we go. So today's show is about planning. So I think it makes sense that we're in here today talking about what's going to be happening. So what's coming down the pike?
Future shows, we have some very cool stuff. Ridgeview Construction, it's a company, they work with the land and try and reduce what they put into building a house to cut down on the construction materials and things of that nature, and make systems from the very beginning that will save homeowners energy and money, and not just the homeowners for the time that they live there, but for the life of the home. So we're talking hundreds of years where you have this little bit of planning at the beginning. Can go a long way. I think the next segment is a good indication of where I'd like to take this show and build on what you've already done, which is great. And one of the big movements that's happening now is that businesses are adopting these practices that people have been refining in their homes for years, and they're kind of warming up to it, saying this is a good business idea, this is a good business decision that will save us money and streamline our operations for years to come. So I went down to it was the Green Alliance Cookout, one of their many great events, and it was held at the Volkswagen dealership over in Greenland. They had just installed a gigantic solar array on one of their roofs. It's going to cost or cut down about 10% of their energy use for the next 30 years. So I thought that was a pretty neat story and went to check it out.
Great. Well, let's take a look at it.
Well, right here we're at Seacoast Volkswagen, powered in part by wind power, and a member of the Green Alliance, and they're hosting Green Alliance Barbecue. So we've got a healthy mix of Green Alliance business partners who are different businesses around the Seacoast area who are doing different things that are green within what they do as a business. For example, the Portsmouth Brewery is one of our business members, and they do composting and recycling, all sorts of good things like that. But then you also have a car dealer like Seacoast Volkswagen who's decided to power part of their operation with wind power and also sells a lot of energy efficient diesel vehicles. So it's a pretty healthy mix.
We felt it was a natural fit for us because of the green practices that we've employed ever since we built the building 7 years ago, and some of the changes we've made to the building since then for energy efficiency.
A lot of our business members are entrepreneurs in here tonight, so they kind of have a vision of where they want to see the world going over the next few years, and some of them choose to do that by cutting hair and using only organic products like shampoos and things like that. Others decide that they want to focus on energy and install geothermal or solar. So it's kind of cool, like meeting all the different people who are involved in the businesses, because they each have something different that they're focusing on, but it all comes back to that green thing. And generally, I think most of them are driven by a passion for making the world a better place and doing it through business.
We converted our 56 parking lot lights over from metal halide, which was probably about the most efficient 7 years ago when we built the building, to LED lights. So we went from 56 fixtures that used 400 watts per fixture to LED lights, which now consume 120 watts per fixture. The Helix wind turbine that's out front was the first project we did with Waterline Technologies out of Seabrook, and they introduced us to the Green Alliance. And that generates 2.5 kilowatts of electricity off a Helix wind turbine. And we've gotten some very interesting comments when we put it up. Some people thought it was modern art. Some people thought it was sculpture. A lot of people didn't know what it was. And then we went ahead and just did a 20,000 kilowatt solar array panel on the roof. And a business this size in a 15,000 square foot building, we use about 20,000 kilowatts a month. And so that equates, that's going to produce about 10% of our electricity a year, every year for the next 30 years.
So essentially what we do is promote sustainability via our website and the local media and events like this, and then also offer consumers pretty substantial discounts on various green services they can take advantage of. Anything from getting their hair cut in their organic salon to going out for a beer and dinner at the Portsmouth Brewery to buying a car. So it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of, and people seem to get really into it.
We are here to tell people about electric bikes. The response is always wonderful for electric bikes. People in this area don't know about electric bikes. They're popular in other countries and in other parts of the United States, but here they're very new, so we try to go to as many different functions and events to let people know how great electric bikes are.
Everybody always hoots, hollers, and gets all excited when they ride the bike. It's quite a feel. It's like being at the airport and walking beside that electronic walkway. You can walk beside it, you can get on that walkway, or you can walk with that walkway. And that's the emotion that you feel when you're riding an electric bike. The main thing is that it allows people to get out and ride a bike again. The hills aren't an issue. It will take you right up the hills. Going into the wind is not an issue. If you get a little bit tired, it doesn't matter.
You have a medical condition.
Medical conditions is another reason that a lot of people are starting to look at these electric bikes.
People associate us now not as being, anti-green or a big car dealership. We're a small car dealership, but we're really trying to do things that are for the right reason, and not just to be green as a PR, but we're doing it for a sound business decision.
The sustainability movement has really moved forward by having businesses be a part of it. And it's not about perfection. Just as individuals we're not perfect, we do have an impact on the environment, but can we make better choices? Businesses can do the same thing. And that's what the Green Alliance is really trying to do, and that's to make sure that the businesses in our own communities that are making better choices, that are reducing their environmental footprint, are pulled out of the crowd. We like to put them on a pedestal. We like to make sure that the consumers know what they're doing and why it matters. And that's really what it's about, is empowering the consumer to make better choices and making sure that the businesses that make those better choices are rewarded for that. I love the fact that we have people from all different walks of life here. We have lots of consumer members. We have business leaders of all political shades. So again, sustainability is not just something that a fringe movement is pushing for. This is something that regular business people in all of our communities and regular everyday moms and consumers care about. This is something that we all care about, and we all can make better choices. We don't have to be perfect, but we can make better choices. And we want to make sure, as the Green Alliance, that we're giving the information to consumers that can happen. And a great turnout at an event like this is a perfect example that people do care, and they want to make a difference.
So that'll do us for this week on the Green Screen. Join us next week for more solutions.